Live and pre-recorded, this is the Red Ticket Blues podcast. I am Brian Buckley. This is being recorded on January 19th. To hit the internets on January 20th. You can always listen to the show on iTunes, TuneIn, Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, and follow me on Twitter at BrianBuck13 and at Red Ticket Blues. So today we have the founders and organizers of the FrancesaCon event. It has become an annual event. Ronald Haraka and Michael Leboff, they discuss the origin and changes throughout the years of the event, and just a few little backstories in between, so I hope everyone will enjoy it. If this audio sounds a little different, I'm using a different mic today, but that's really irrelevant. Let's listen to it. We welcome in the founders and organizers of the FrancesaCon trilogy, and that, of course, is Michael Leboff and Ronald Haraka. Gentlemen, welcome to the Red Ticket Blues podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
No problem. It's a pleasure. I mean, you guys are organizing this huge event. I think you should have an outlet to talk to the legion of Mongo Nation and anyone else. Before we get into FrancesaCon and all of that, now every lucky soul that gets an entry into Irving Plaza in downtown Manhattan on Saturday will have a ticket, and that ticket says "Handsome Wolf Creative" on it. Could you guys, explain exactly what Handsome Wolf is for anyone that doesn't know?
Yeah, it basically started because when FrancesaCon kind of grew, we had to protect the idea, so we had to back it up with an LLC, and then Ron and I said, now we got a little business thing going, and the idea right now is to try to create these kind of charity events where they're kind of unique and not the dinner silent auction type things. And right now it's basically FrancesaCon is the flagship event, and hopefully we can put together some other ones in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, you use the word unique, and that's perfect. How did you guys come up with a concept like that? A charity event. I mean, does something really spur it for you, or was this something you'd always wanted to do? How did that just come about?
I mean, this was just a total spontaneous thing. I mean, there was never, it's not like either of us grew up and our dream was to run events or anything like that. And, it just happened. And, we figured, well, while we're doing this, let's, make it a charity thing. That you can never go wrong with that. So, and that kind of stuck. It all happened very organically and, was very spontaneous.
All right. So, after FrancesaCon 3, which will obviously be another hit, are there any upcoming projects for Handsome Wolf, set in stone, or are we still looking around to find out exactly what the next project will be?
It's nothing set in stone. I know, Ron and I have kicked around the idea of almost an off-Broadway kind of play. The proceeds would go to charity, and it would probably be based. The two of us are sports nerds, so it would be like the New York sports based kind of thing. So we've met a little bit on it, but that's backburnered until after Saturday.
Just to add to that, we for the past couple of years, and just really nothing has come to fruition. We always toss around the idea of another type of gathering for the Mongos, something in the summer, so we're always kicking around ideas on that. And, who knows, maybe, we'll eventually put something together where we can kind of have you have something in the winter and something in the summer for all of us to get together. So we're still working on that, but
maybe a cruise, one of those circle cruises.
Yeah,
we can get a Mongo Nation cruise.
Oh my God, that'd be fun though. So on to definitely scary. So on to FrancesaCon, this papal and holy event of the Gregorian calendar, which I'm pretty sure is insanely blasphemous. But anyways, it takes place this Saturday. And going back to the origin of the idea, you just said you guys are both sports nerds. Have you guys always been big Francesa fans? Did you see a really good opportunity, or was it a little bit of both?
Yeah, I guess it was a combination. I've always listened to him, but
yeah, it's definitely a little bit of both for sure. Grew up listening to him. Not as a kid, not super religiously. It's more like one of those things where your dad, and I know my dad, would listen to him sometimes, and I'd hear him on, and he'd be like, oh, it's just this guy, Mike Francesa, he's got a crazy. And we're like, oh, okay. And then as you get older, then you start to really appreciate it, what it's for.
Appreciate's an interesting word. Yeah, no, I have the same experience. I think I've said on a podcast before that I think I'm a little older than you guys, but I got the same experience when I'd ride in the car or when my father bring me to school and Imus was on the radio, and I'd just be like, how is this guy allowed to say these things he's saying? And my dad's like, yeah, that's Imus, that's him. So very similar situation. So I'll say this: my inner geekdom of Mike Francesa has taken me to some places as an adult that I didn't think I would go. But a gathering of fans for Mike Francesa, it's truly a creative event. Idea, I should say. So where did the actual notion come from to actually have a gathering of Mongo Nation for the Sports Pope? Like, where did that just come to you in a premonition and a dream? I mean, how did you say, well, let's get a bunch of people together to celebrate this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of an interesting long backstory, and the late, like, kind of short version of it is I hated my job. I was working for this financial firm in Connecticut, and it sucked, and I'm not a number. I don't honestly know how I even got the job or passed even the first interview, and I hated it. My boss sucked, and so I would go home frustrated every day. And so one day I just texted Ron. I said, "This would kind of be funny," and he said, "Let's do it."
So, Mike, tell us what you really thought about your previous job, because I don't think you were a big fan of it. As I'm getting that vibe.
Oh, it was great. It was awesome. Great people there.
So I was at FrancesaCon 1 at Saloon and various other bars. There's no Francesa sightings. The paparazzi waited all day. They got nothing. Was the idea to have Mike there, or was this just sort of a let's see what we got situation?
Yeah, I don't think we ever, I don't think when we did the first one, we never had the intentions of Mike showing. Maybe as it got closer and got bigger, I think we were maybe like, oh, like maybe he'll come. That would be crazy. But it didn't really become real of his, or his participation didn't really become real until after the first one or leading up into year 2. So it was never intended to be something like that, where to try to get him to come. It was really geared towards the fans and Mongo Nation, just to get everybody together. But, luckily it worked out to be something way bigger.
I think actually, Ron, do you remember the first FrancesaCon has like some weird mystique about it, like random people sightings, and one was Ron Darling, and then someone told us that they saw Francesa at a bar.
Really?
Salute.
I do remember the Ron Darling thing, because Ron Darling never came. He never stepped foot in Saloon, but then next thing you know, someone was like, yeah, Ron Darling's at the bar next door, like just hanging out. And it was almost like he wanted to catch the tail end of FrancesaCon. I don't know.
I knew there were random people there. I did not hear Ron Darling, honestly, though.
Yeah, that was one. That was definitely the funniest one.
I figured for those Simpson fans out there, the episode where they're all brainwashed by a cult and they get to see the leader going by in a Rolls Royce and he just waves to everyone. That was what I thought Francesa would be like there. I thought he'd maybe drive by, wave, just seeing his hand just peeking out of the window and everyone would go,
driving by in a glass encased.
Exactly, honks the horn. Goodbye. Were you happy with the results of FrancesaCon 1? And I guess talking about random people, and how the heck did you get boxer Amir Khan there?
Yeah, I think that's the best metaphor for FrancesaCon is the fact that Amir Khan showed up to the first one. That's like, it doesn't get weirder than that. His people just reached out to. I think they thought it was going to be some gigantic
Amir Khan or the owner of the Jaguars, depending on who you are.
It was like, I think so. What happened was, his publicist called me the day before and said, "Hey, we're gonna be in town going to the Super Bowl," and they were trying to get Amir. I don't know how many boxing fans there are, but Amir Khan's always been wanting to get that big fight, right. So he was chasing Mayweather, and I think they thought it'd be a good publicity opportunity to be at this gigantic party in New York City at Super Bowl weekend. So like, yeah, sure, absolutely. We got a lot of press coming and media and Jeff Cumberland, and so come on down. And so yeah, he showed up for like 2 minutes. So I don't even know if people realize that Amir Khan just did a walk through the bar and then walked right back out, but it was great.
Yeah, not many did.
I think I might have been outside smoking a cigarette, and somebody said, "Did you see Amir Khan?" I was like, "Amir Khan? Wait, what? He was here at FrancesaCon?" So, do you guys were you happy with the results of FrancesaCon 1? Did you see things you wanted to improve on? I mean, did you consider it a success?
Yeah, absolutely. It was something way more than we could ever imagine. You know, we had no idea it was going to be that big. We always were like, yeah, it might turn out to be like a few guys and just our friends, and like, you know, kind of could be kind of a weird thing. Well, it still is a weird thing, but definitely,
totally.
luckily not awkward. It's just a few guys hanging out. But
right.
Yeah, it was definitely a success. I think right off the bat we realized that the amount of people, you know, Saloon was great to us, and they were all very helpful. But you know, it just wasn't big enough, really.
Yeah.
You know, so that was the first thing we noticed off the bat. And you know, if we ever wanted to do it again or get bigger, you know, mainly for safety reasons, but also just so everybody could have a good time, we'd have to, you know, figure something out with regards to the venue. But I mean, that's a nice problem to have. So yeah, all in all, I think, you know, it was definitely a success.
Yeah. I would have to say the only downside to it was the size of it, but I can't blame you for that. I mean, like you said, you really didn't know what to expect. It could have been a bunch of bros just wanting to play beer pong, but instead you got a lot more people there. It was hot as hell in there, but it was a good time. I definitely did have a good time. Got to put a few names to faces from Twitter, but we move on from FrancesaCon 1 to FrancesaCon 2. Now, we all know Mike was present at the second event, but let's get down to the hard-fought negotiations here. How did the overtures to Mike showing up there actually begin?
So the day after FrancesaCon 1, when he was kind of talking about it on his Super Bowl Sunday show, he said he was going to come, and I was watching on TV on this RIP simulcast, and all of a sudden my phone lit up, and it was a text from Mike Francesa.
Oh yeah, we all get those, right?
Yeah. And he said, like, hey, he asked us all he said was, what are the charities that we donated to? So I gave him the names of the charities, and he asked me how much we donated, and I told him, and then he said, if you do it for charity again next year, if you do it again next year, he'd come. And then he said that during his show too. So that's kind of, I guess, how it started. And then a couple of months passed, or a lot of months, and he had texted us about helping him out at Bar A, and we kind of just kept in contact. And then, he showed up, and I mean, it was crazy. He's been great to us. So,
I mean, did you get any angry texts about games or anything, or any funny memes from him? Because he seems like a real lighthearted texting guy. Nothing like that. No.
No, I one time I did. I know Katie Baker once. She called us to do when Grantland covered it. And I told her the same story, that one time I like kind of grew in confidence of how I was texting him, and I thought, maybe me and Mike are becoming great friends. And then I texted him once when I was drunk, and I was at the Belmont, and I asked him for a pic, and he just never responded to me. So then it was just strictly business.
Calm down.
Yeah. And I tell Ron all the time, we talk about it a lot, that, we're walking on eggshells texting him. You never know. Like, I don't ever want to say something that he would take out of context or whatever. And his texts to me sometimes are hysterical just because of the gap in generational gap. But there's some good ones.
Yeah, it's kind of like my mother when she texts. Every single text has an exclamation point at the end of it. So I could see something like Mike, and Mom, I love you, friend of the podcast, but I'm just stating the obvious. I could see some sort of generational gaps, even more than punctuation. So did the people running Irving Plaza think you guys were nuts when you announced your intentions, or was it, sort of show me the money and do whatever you want? Hello?
I
thought I lost you guys for a second.
There's some funny stories about that too.
Yeah, okay, well, get into what you want to. Get in. Don't say anything stupid. Go ahead, say what you like.
I think who knows what they were really thinking. They never said to us like, "Oh, you guys are freaks" or anything like that. I think there's definitely a show me the money and do whatever the hell you want to do. But afterwards, I think they definitely, we got some compliments from, our contact there who runs it, like what a great event it was, and et cetera, et cetera. And look, obviously there was no issues with security or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, for somebody like them, it probably is a really weird thing, and I can only imagine like a security guard, what's going on in his head when he's sitting there watching just the madness that goes on. But yeah, if they do think it's weird, they kind of keep it to themselves, I gotta say.
I do remember going into the first one, and I guess you showed your ticket, and then you got a wristband, and the guy, I showed up, my loving wife went with me, and he's just sort of like, oh, it's another one of these Francesa guys, another one. What are they all doing here? But I do remember it was very, very different at Irving Plaza. I mean, it was very welcoming. Everyone came in. You got the coat check. I mean, it was very bourgeoisie.
We definitely stepped it up. What time did you show up to the first one?
The first one, it had already started big time. I don't remember the exact time.
I still remember the first kid that showed up.
Okay.
The first guy, and he came to the second one. I hope he shows up again, because I remember him walking. He walked in a little early, and I remember he walked in and had this look on his face like, oh my God, this is actually real. And we're like, hey, we're just setting up, come back at 12. And he did. And it's just like the look, I'll never forget the look on this guy's face. And he's just like, I cannot believe this is actually a real thing. And then I saw him again at Irving Plaza, and he was like, this is great to see that this stepped up to this level. Well, yeah, it was fun.
So let's take me back. We're going to go back here. So the big days here. Irving Plaza, people start showing up. Bill and Mike are doing their thing as, Francesa and Dog. Right before Francesa walks out on that stage, are you guys worried? Are you?
I was sweating. I was hot but no, I was only worried that he was going to be upset when he walked out of the stage. I don't know. But I guess I was a little worried. But as soon as he took the mic and you saw that look on his face, I was not worried anymore. I'm not. It would have been nice to know when he was showing up. He never told us.
Yeah, we still don't know.
Why is that not shocking? Yeah, I was in the on the second deck there, and it was very awkward that first 10 or 15 seconds. I mean, yeah, everyone was going crazy. They were loving it. But, I mean, he just looked at everyone and just peered out into the crowd. And then, yeah, as soon as he grabbed that microphone and said, I've been doing this a long time. And I don't know if he really meant to say that to make everyone laugh because that's one of his catchphrases, or he just went into something he normally says.
Yeah, I think that was just normal speak, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if he realized what we were all laughing at. But anyways, so he's on the stage there for like 8 to 9 minutes, but he played that crowd like a fiddle. I mean, he had everyone in the palm of his hand. But let me ask you this. More importantly, after all the expenses, how much money did you guys raise for charity?
We raised $7,500 last year for charity. That's
pretty good. That's really good.
And we're hoping, and we expect to top that this year. So, we're looking forward to that.
So here's the big news now. Big talk going on. We're just a few days away from FrancesaCon 3, and based on Mike's prognostications of winter weather before, I think it's only fitting that a major winter storm is approaching. FrancesaCon will happen regardless of snowfall. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, so there's nothing that will stop the show from going on. Let me ask you this. So the event is sold out. Last year was not. Do we have any idea how many extra people will be in Irving Plaza as opposed to last year?
We sold out last year too.
Oh, you did? Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. It was. I think they give us a capacity of around 1,000.
Okay.
So we sell. I can't even remember how many we sold last year, but we sold the allotment we had, and then had about 100 comps.
Okay, then.
So I think there were about 950 people in there.
Okay, so
yeah, I mean, regardless of what was sold and what wasn't sold, we were at capacity last year, and we'll be at capacity again this year.
Very good. So any surprises this year, and are you willing to reveal every single one of them right now?
Well, I don't think Amir Khan is coming.
Jesus, forget it. I'm not going.
And I'm still waiting for Jeff Cumberland to say that he's coming. But
he looked so comfortable next to Bill doing the trivia there.
I thought he was a official Mongo. I thought he for sure would he was sucked in. But
well, I guess Amir Khan never responds to our. Although his publicist, we've been in back and forth with her a couple of times, but I don't think he's a Mongo yet.
Oh, that's too funny. Sending out requests to him. Hey, you like the first one, right? Come on, second, third. Come on. Let's. We
thought we were in there when he fought at Barclays in May. So we reached out. We're like, hey, if he needs an entourage in that corner.
No, just crickets.
Yeah, basically oh God, this is really weird. We don't even remember what you're talking about.
Well, gentlemen, that's all I got. I'm looking forward to the event. Definitely, I'm going to be in the city on Friday night, so to see the Knicks game, and after that, I'm all ready for FrancesaCon 3. And I won't have to worry about driving in there, and everyone listening to this is probably like, screw you, Brian. But
you're using your noodle is what you're doing.
I'm using my noodle. I saw this major pressure system coming from months away, so I took care of it. I'm looking forward to it. So anything else? I mean, you guys have anything you'd like to say to the people looking forward to FrancesaCon 3 coming up this Saturday?
I mean, I'll just give a few details. I mean, it's already, I'm sure most people know, but doors open at 12, and it'll be going to 6 p.m. After which we're going to have an after party at Sidebar, which is right around the corner, and also Village Poorhouse, which is a little bit further away from that, and that'll go on until who knows when, as long as we want. And proceeds from FrancesaCon and part of the proceeds from the after party will go to the Teddy Atlas Foundation.
Oh. Yeah, we set it up with Irving Plaza where proceeds from everything, every dollar that you spend, whether it's coat check, booze, food, whatever your shirts, whatever you spend on, that's all going towards charity. So they're very good about that. Bring your coat, your coat, check your coat, check it again.
I mean, that's the beauty of the snowstorm, is that everybody's going to have to wear big heavy coats, and that just means more money for charity. So I mean, I don't know what everybody's worried about.
And in regards to the snowstorm, one text I will share is that Mike texted me before. He's asking, just making sure we didn't have a rain date or whatever. And I told him, we're rain, sleet, or snow, we're going. And he said, we will roll the dice. I will be there.
We'll roll the dice. We'll get it all rolling.
Get it all rolling, baby.
All right, gentlemen. I want to thank you for coming on. It is Michael Leboff and Ronald Haraka. Did I say those correctly?
Yep.
That's it.
All right. You can follow the account for FrancesaCon, and that is at FrancesaCon. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
All right. Seeing you Saturday.
So there you have it, everybody. Ron and Mike, the originators of FrancesaCon, nice enough to join the Red Ticket Blues podcast and just discuss what goes into making an event like FrancesaCon as great as it is. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. Remember, you can follow the @FrancesaCon account on Twitter, and you can see the real deal if you have a ticket on Saturday at Irving Plaza in downtown Manhattan. What was I going to say? Oh, right. You can always listen to the show on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, and follow me and follow the show at BrianBuck13 and at Red Ticket Blues. Like the show on Facebook, and take a little bit of time right now to go leave a review or even a rating, 5 stars, because that's the only stars you would leave. So with all that being said, I'm out of here.